Hi everybody, welcome to Wisecom Driving, and today we're having a quick look at the BMW 530e M Sport. Now the BMW 5 Series comes in two versions. One is the base 520i, which has a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, and it gives you 184 horsepower and 290 Newton meters of torque. Now, that one retails for 328,000. Then we have this one, which is a plug-in hybrid. It has the same engine and the same horsepower, okay, of 184 and 290 Newton meters, but in addition, it gets a 113 horsepower electric motor, and this electric motor helps to boost the power and boost it up by about another 250 Newton meters. And combined power will give it 252 horsepower and 420 Newton meters of torque. Now, in comparison, the base car has 290 Newton meters and 184 horsepower. With the plug-in hybrid, you get a combined power of 252 and 420 Newton meters of torque. Now, the fuel consumption on the 520i is 6-point-something liters per 100, but this one is rated at 2.3 liters per 100. Now, of course, you know that these test figures are just an indication, and real life fuel consumption is a bit different. But in terms of rating, the 530e gets 2.3 liters per 100. So even if you do double or 3 times, it's still very economical, right? But anyway, that's another point. We're going to do some fuel consumption tests later on. But let me tell you the price of the 530e. Remember, the 520i is 328,000. Well, this one, in actual form, it will cost you a little bit over 400,000. But because of a tax rebate based on it being an energy efficient vehicle, a PHEV, which is plug-in hybrid, there is a subsidy of about 78,000 something, almost 79,000 ringgit, and that brings the price back down to 338. So in terms of getting a 5 Series, the 520i, which has less power, and the 530e, which is a plug-in hybrid, which means you have also a good range of electric driving. I'm not sure how far you can drive, but I understand you can go for quite a distance. Okay, I don't have the number anywhere here, but you'll get something like maybe, I don't know, maybe 40 kilometers or something like that of electrical driving, and that is pretty good. So, on top of that, you get 19-inch wheels, and because the other one has 18-inch, yeah. So for 10,000 ringgit extra over the 520i, you get bigger wheels, you get the car with basically the same stuff, but an additional hybrid system. So it's not because they're giving it to you for 10,000 ringgit, but it's because they put in about maybe 100,000 ringgit, and they have the government subsidy gives them back about 80,000 ringgit, yeah? So, no, so it's about 90,000, and you get about 80,000 of rebate, and so the net increase in price is just 10,000 ringgit. So that makes it a very, very interesting and viable proposal. So if you have 338,000 ringgit, you can buy a car like this. Of course, our test drive results will tell you how it performs, but I can tell you it performs okay. With 252 horses on tap and 420 Newton meters ready to go, it is pretty good. So the weight of this car is 1.845 tons, okay? And that's quite a heavy car. But then this is a very, very big car. Overall length of 4.936 meters, which makes it as long as a truck, yeah? Some trucks are close to there, almost 5 meters, and SUVs are around 4.9. So this is a huge car. It's a huge car. Look at me standing beside it. Okay, the width is 1.868, not so wide, but It's a decent width. It is wider, but it's wider than normal vehicles by about 600 or 500 meters, 500 millimeters, yeah. Because the base cars normally is under 1.8 meters. This one is a bit wide, so when you drive it, yeah, you will know. Especially parking it, you will know. But don't worry, there's a parking assistant that helps you to park. And wheelbase is pretty long. So those of you who understand wheelbase, is actually the center-to-center distance between the front and the rear wheels. This is almost 3 meters. It's only an inch shorter than 3 meters. It's 2975. So this is a huge car. Let's take a closer look at the car. And at the front, of course, there is the signature BMW kidney grille, and these grills are what you call special. They will open and close depending on the heating requirements. On a cold day, the slats there will remain closed, but on a warm day, when the engine gets a bit hotter and it needs to be warmed up, then these slats will open up, and it's all done automatically. Now, headlights are of course LED, plus the daytime running lights down there, and over down there you see a little bit of LED fog lights too. And overall, the demeanor is quite masculine. Yeah, it's a very nice looking and aggressive looking car, and when you see it coming from behind, it looks pretty aggressive. And here are the 19-inch wheels. The 530e gets 1 inch bigger wheels than the 520i, and then because it is M Sport, yeah, which is defined here, the M Sport fittings give it the M brake calipers, and they look like they are 4-pot fixed calipers, and this is the M brand, yeah, and this upgrades the stopping ability. Now, front looks like double wishbone, yeah, that looks like a double wishbone suspension with huge ventilated discs. These are at least 350 and above size of discs, so it's pretty good. And these are Goodyear tires. They are 245 40 series R19, so they're 40 series tires and should provide pretty good handling. Then you look along the sides of the very, very long wheelbase, 2975 of it, and you look at the back, and at the back it looks like it's a multi-link arrangement, and there's a single pot, looks like a floating caliper, also in the M blue color, to make it stand apart from the ordinary brakes. So this is what makes the car stand out a little bit. Okay, another point about the rear wheels and the front wheels of this BMW 530e is that they are both 19-inch, but they are staggered size wheels, yeah. So the rear wheels are actually 275 35 series 19, whilst the front are 245. That means the rear wheels are a good 1.25 inches wider. Okay, that's 30 wider than the front wheels. That is to give the rear wheels more grip, because this is a rear wheel drive car. And of course, down here you see this is e-drive, and e-drive means it's plug-in hybrid. And over here, I forgot to show you just now, this is where you have to open this, yeah. This is where you, yep, and this is where you plug in your charger. There are two types of ways you can, or rather, there are two ways you can charge your car, and one is by plugging it at a public charging point, and this is a very standard charging type of head, or there is another charger set in the boot that allows you to plug it to a 3-point plug in your house, yeah. So good thing about this charging port is once you are plugged in and you lock the car, the plug cannot be removed. It sort of like holds it in place, so the only way you can remove it is to cut it, yeah. and if you cut it, it becomes useless anyway. So here is the back end of the car, the twin exhaust, and the lights are very BMW. So at the back you see here it says 530e. So basically the car specs are very similar to the 520i, except that the 530e gets a bit more stuff, and the net price you have to pay extra is only 10,000 ringgit. So here's another view of the car from the back. It looks quite nice to me. Okay, as usual, the bonnet opening is by pressing twice. So nowadays the new cars, for the new cars, you don't have to find a catch in the bottom. And by the weight of the bonnet, I can tell you it's aluminum. It's really light, and I like it. So without an aluminum bonnet, this would be at least another 40 or 50 kilos heavier. Excuse me. So here you see inline, you don't see it actually, you see the engine cover. This is the inline 2-liter engine, 4 cylinders from the BMW family, and this is the same engine that gives you 184 horsepower and 290 Newton meters of torque. Now somewhere along inside there is an electric motor, but I have no idea where it is. And you can see here it is, yeah, it's really well covered up. But this compartment can take bigger engines. Yes, there are bigger engines available with this 5 Series. So you can see here there's a lot of space in the front, yeah. So this is 4-cylinder. It will be very easy to take a 6-cylinder or a V8 inside this configuration. Okay, again you see the drive-by-wire, and you can see struts on the body to help hold the front in place. Okay, so actually all the weight, if you look at the engine, yeah, okay, that part is the engine over there, that's the engine cover. And if you look at it from the side, the engine is actually, okay, I'm standing square with the car, the engine is actually right on top and slightly behind the front wheels. So BMW takes a lot of pain to, or rather a lot of effort to go for the 50-50 weight distribution. So the hybrid motor is somewhere here, I don't know where it is because I can't see it, but it's probably at the back. Yes, and I can see there the orange wires. That is the high voltage management system. Okay, other than that, there's nothing much to see here. A few things for you to look at. That's engine oil and windscreen wiper washer, and that's about it. Can't see much nowadays with all the engine covers. Okay, next let's take a look at the boot. Now the batteries for the hybrid are somewhere at the back, so they are at the bottom near the back part of the car. And what you see here, this is a bag that has all the, this is the charging cable for you to charge at a station, the public charging station, yeah. And then this is the other one. It has a 3-pin plug in it, and that is for you to charge your plug-in hybrid at home. Now there is no spare tire, so as with all BMWs, so there's just a repair kit. But the boot here is a little bit on the small side for such a huge car. It's only 410 liters big because a lot of the space is at the bottom, yeah, and so the floor is a bit raised because of the battery, and so the boot capacity is a little bit small, 410 liters, but it's enough for you to put maybe one large suitcase and one small suitcase in it. So boot space is not this car's best friend. Okay, the good point is, of course, that you can have an electric opening and shutting, and so that is just an additional piece of luxury. And of course at the back here you can see the reverse camera. So you can see the center Armrest is wide, so two people can put their arms on it and not touch arms. And of course, this is where the drink holder is, and it folds neatly like that. And so you can sit 5 people if you want. There's plenty of leg room. So this is the rear aircon control, and you can actually control the fan speed and the temperature on both sides. Yeah, so this is what you can call a 4-zone aircon controller. And at the bottom here, you have 2 power sockets. Okay, let's get into the back seat, and you can see, yes, there's plenty of room. Of course, they have that little hole there for you to put your feet, and that is the position for my driving position. And as you can see, there's a good 7 to 8 inches of room for my knee room. So the other side, the seat is put a little bit further back, but there's still enough of room. So in terms of room, this car is quite well endowed because it is a big car. And so looking at the front, you can see that it is very well appointed. That's the steering, a little bit on the big side, but this is a big car. That steering is about 14.5, 15 inches. And of course, it's got all the steering controls, yeah, plus the paddle shifters, as you can see. And there's a big screen for you to look at all the information that you want. That's the aircon louvers, and you can see the aircon is digital control, and the radio and all the stuff in the front. And the front dashboard has got aluminum brushed aluminum lining that goes all the way through to the passenger and also to the rear passenger. So that's the motif. And down there you see ambient lighting, and it appears there are 6 of these ambient lightings you can choose. So at the back, these are the additional aircon louvers that give you more air, and they even have a little coat hook up here. And the seat belt anchor is non-adjustable. Again, from the driver's viewpoint, you get electrically adjustable seats, and also these are the little additional touches that BMW have. You can extend or retract the bottom part of the seat to give you more thigh support, and it's good for people with long legs because then they can make it longer, and for people with short legs they can make it shorter. Okay, I'm not so tall, and so I prefer to have it shorter. Now the seats are leather, and I think they call this Dakota leather, and they have white stitching. So in terms of the seat, it is quite well done, and there's a lot of support for the side. The side wings help to hold you in your seat because BMW goes for good driving experience, so they want to make sure that the driver is securely fastened in the seat and is held by the seat. Okay, for the fuel lid, they have the fuel lid cover and also the rear boot switch, so you can open the fuel lid using this button, and also the boot and door lock is on the door handle, which is good. And what I like about this one is that it's applicable on both sides, because the co-driver also gets to lock the door or unlock the door. So what we have done is we have started the engine and run the aircon because it's hot. Okay, in order to get the engine running, I'm going to reverse the car a bit because of the glare. To get the engine running, you have to step on the accelerator. Okay, so there is a rear view camera which is activated, and so we are just stopped here, but it's a bit dark, so I'm going to move the car to another position so that we can see. We're actually in a sheltered area, because it is very hot outside. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. And when you first turn the start stop button, it's very strange feeling because nothing seems to happen. Because basically it's like an electrical switch. Yeah, you press the button and the lights come on, but you don't hear anything because the engine isn't started, so it's just getting ready to go. Now here is the instrument panel. There's a bit of glare there. Okay, that's what it looks like. BMW530e also comes with park assist. Yeah, so you can actually do parallel parking or perpendicular parking. With it, we're not going to show you, but I assure you it works. Yeah, so this is what you can see on the parking. And also in terms of driving, there are a few modes. Now, Max E Drive is when you have some battery charged up, and then when you do Max E Drive, the car works very hard to give you as much electrical power as possible and to give the balance, yeah, to give you best fuel economy. Then there is this battery control mode where you can actually invoke, and then the engine will run to charge up the battery, so for later use. So in this case here, you can see the battery on the right. That's the battery condition. It's at 0 charge. So right now you can hear the engine a little bit. The engine is running to charge up the battery for later use. And then there's another mode, auto drive. Auto drive, where the system controls the electrical driving. And let's see. Okay, Max E Drive, battery control, and Auto E Drive. So the system decides how much electricity to give you and how much engine to give you. So it's all automatic. So other than that, this screen is very useful, and you can have, for example, your driving information. So far on board computer, it says we are doing 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers. Of course, some of it is contributed by me just sitting here with the engine running and talking to you about the car. And it tells you you have 196 kilometers done on electrical charge. Okay. Then of course we also have media. You can look at the stations and the menu. Look at the radio communication. Today is the 16th of January. Yeah. And so you also have navigation, notifications, and BMW Connected Drive. So elsewhere, you also have the controls for the air conditioner, and it's digital, so you can set up things the way you like it. So down there in the control side, yes, the gear lever is P, and we are in P. Then to go to drive, all you got to do is press the button and push down, and you're in drive. Then you can go to manual if you want, but you can also use the pedal shifters anytime. Yeah. And down here you have your e-drive button that allows you to toggle through which drive mode you want. And also there's chassis control. Chassis control, this is Eco Pro. So I'm going to press the buttons and you'll see the result here. Eco Pro, efficient driving setting. Yeah. So you can have standard and you can individualize it if you want. Then you have comfort, which is a balance setting, and most people will drive on comfort. And if you want to go a bit hot, you can run on sport mode. This is for the chassis control. Yeah. And let's say you configure, okay, let's go to sport, and you need to configure individual. Let's see what you can configure. Yeah, damping, steering, engine, transmission. So this is all the settings you can set your individual settings to in each of the classifications. And then there's another one where it's traction control off. Okay, so you can turn off your traction control if you want, or this is your DSC, dynamic stability control, on. Okay, I press the button, traction control on or off. Okay, So you can do all these options with your 530e. And then down here you have, of course, your drink holders down there, and also the cover for to make it look neat. Alright, so in terms of the dashboard, it's pretty nice. It's soft rubber and it's soft plastic. I don't know how long it will last. I have this worry about these soft feel dashboards now. The solid one appealed to me more, and it's carried across to the other side, and everything is very nice and luxurious. This is a nice car. I like this aluminum brush. Aluminum is a textured aluminum, so it's quite good. This is your instrument panel, and you have your meters over there. That's your speed. Okay, just for your information, this car will hit 235 kilometers per hour, yeah, and fuel consumption is rated at 2.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Very quickly, looking at the features on the car, we have lane departure warning, they have front collision alert with braking, and rear collision prevention, and cross traffic warning, and of course parking assist. You can do parallel and perpendicular parking with this car, and there's a 5 years unlimited mileage warranty, and that includes free scheduled services, and all of this for 338,000 ringgit. Alright guys, so that's the walk around for the BMW 530e. I hope you find it useful, and if you want to buy a car, you know where to go. Alright, thanks for watching, and bye bye.